Hi, I'm Ashley McGuire, the Outreach Coordinator for Friends of Sears Island.
And I'm Serena Cole. I'm a retired biology teacher and a self-made naturalist.
So today we're out here on Sears Island in our milkweed field at the end of the Homestead Trail, and we wanted to tell you a little bit about monarch butterflies on Sears Island and the monarch conservation work that we're doing here. Sears Island is a 936-acre island in Searsport that is attached to the mainland by causeway, and so a lot of people can come and visit the island, and it's a great place for recreation because you can park your car on the causeway and then come hike and swim and bike and do all kinds of activities. There's a 601-acre conservation area on the island that is managed by Friends of Sears Island, and so in addition to managing the conservation area on Sears Island, our organization also offers a wide array of programming throughout the year, public programs for people that range from natural history walks to yoga classes on the beach to solstice celebrations and after-school science programs for kids. And we also do some evening talks at the library in the colder months and some educational Zoom programs during the pandemic we've been doing as well. So within the conservation area, we have a couple of fields where many milkweed plants grow. A few years ago, we decided to look into the Monarch Watch program and to find out whether our field would qualify as a monarch way station. Monarch Watch is a nonprofit group that focuses on monarch butterfly conservation. Basically, a monarch way station is an area that's designated as an important habitat for monarchs, in that it provides a certain concentration of milkweed plants for the monarch eggs to be laid on and the caterpillars to eat. It's also a resting spot along migration routes and also offers some plants that are a food source that provide nectar for the adult butterflies. We worked with a local ecologist to determine the makeup of our fields, like the concentration of certain plants per square foot, and it turns out that we did qualify to be a designated way station. So in 2017, we had a group of kids in our after-school program come out to the field with us, and with the help of one of our board members, they dug a hole and erected our Monarch way station sign. It was also the first monarch butterfly tagging workshop that we offered.
Monarchs are amazing creatures. They're called the king of butterflies. That's where their name comes from, monarch. They undergo a complete metamorphosis. They go from egg to larva, which is the caterpillar stage, to pupa, and then adult. And in the chrysalis, the cells totally rearrange themselves and go from being a caterpillar to emerging as an adult butterfly. Just truly an amazing feat. And the anatomy of a monarch is interesting as well. The eyes locate the flower, but the antenna is what is used to smell the flowers, and the feet taste the flowers. Imagine that. They're really important pollinators as adults. As butterflies, they feed on nectar and they pollinate many wildflowers. They're also a food source for birds and other insects, some small animals. And of course, we can't forget their migration. Ours, the Sears Island monarchs, they migrate approximately 4,830 miles. It's the only butterfly to make a two-way migration like birds do. Truly amazing creatures. But monarchs need our help. There's still questions about the fall migration, and the data from Monarch Watch and other programs helps in their conservation effort. Unfortunately, 90% of the monarch population has died off in the past 20 years. That's about 1 billion monarchs gone. Scientists have figured out that there's 3 factors that really have contributed to their decline. The first is the destruction of the milkweed habitat. This happens because of development. It also happens because of pesticides and herbicides. The pesticides kill the monarchs directly, and the herbicides kill the monarchs because their food source is gone. Just this summer in North Dakota, they sprayed to eradicate mosquitoes, and they found hundreds of adult monarchs dead. Logging in the overwintering sites in Mexico is also contributing to their decline. In 1986, there was a biosphere preserve set up which protects the area in which the monarchs overwinter. But logging is permitted up to the biosphere. And in 1995, as an example, with the logging up to the biosphere, there was no buffer zone and there was a severe snowstorm and 5 to 7 million monarchs perished. And climate change also is affecting the population. The warming is confusing the migration habits of the monarch. Some are not migrating at all anymore, and others are staying too long as the season extends itself, but then they get caught in bad weather. All right, so the life cycle of the monarch takes about 30 days to undergo this complete metamorphosis of egg to larva to pupa and adult. The eggs obviously are laid by the female. She lays them one at a time, but she can lay up to 250 eggs in one day. One egg at the underside of the tip of the milkweed plant is what she does. And then in 4 days, the eggs hatch and they become the larva. The larva, as you can see, increase in size because they go through molts. There are 5 molts, and those are called the instar stages. So the first is very small, obviously. The second instar is bigger. The third, the fourth, and then the 5th instar are the big monarchs that we recognize. The pupa stage is when the caterpillar, the larva, forms a chrysalis. And inside the chrysalis, like I said earlier, the cells rearrange themselves and the chrysalis transforms that caterpillar into a butterfly. That stage takes about 10 to 14 days. The adult emerges, and the adult stage is the butterfly that we recognize. And their main role is for reproduction, except for the monarchs here. They are also going to migrate. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about the migration. Our monarchs, the monarchs at Sears Island, are the 4th generation in a family that came from here, overwintered in Mexico, and then came back here. Now, how does that work? Well, in February or March in Mexico, the final generation, ours, comes out of hibernation. They mate, and they start flying north and east, and they lay their eggs, and then they die. The egg goes through the metamorphosis, larva, pupa, adult. That's considered generation 1. In generation 2, which occurs in May and June, those monarchs fly north and east again. They do the same thing. They mate, they lay their eggs, larva, egg larva, pupa, adult, and they die as well. The 3rd generation, July and August, they fly north and east. They mate, lay their eggs. Each time they're getting closer and closer to their original location. Generation is different, generation 4. It's born in September and October. These are the monarchs that we see here at Sears Island. And they don't die after 2 to 6 weeks. What they do is they migrate to Mexico. And that migration occurs when the asters and the goldenrod are in bloom, usually the beginning of September. These monarchs are special because they live 6 to 8 months. And then when they emerge from their hibernation after their overwintering, they start the whole cycle again. And each of these 4 generations are linked. The amazing thing is that generation 4 goes back to the same field, the same milkweed as the original generation. It's genetically imprinted on them. It's an amazing occurrence, and we still have a lot to learn.
So the Monarch Watch program started at the University of Kansas, and this is the tagging program that they started that I'm going to tell you a little bit about now. They started way back in 1992, and it's this really long-running study that they've been doing where they have been engaging volunteers from all over Canada, North America, and Mexico to participate in tagging monarch butterflies during the fall migration. So it's pretty amazing that they have so many people from all over our country and Canada and Mexico that have contributed data to this huge database of information. And basically the way that we're helping and what we're doing here on Sears Island is every year we order a set of tags from Monarch Watch. And the tags that they have each tag has its own specific serial number on it. And the serial number is something that will identify each specific butterfly to Monarch Watch. So for every butterfly that we net here on the milkweed field on Sears Island, we'll try to get a little tag on a certain part of its wing, which I'm going to demonstrate in just a moment. And these tags are designed to stick well to the wing, but to keep the butterfly, it's not supposed to hurt their wing, and they're supposed to be able to still fly through all kinds of weather. So we attach this sticker, and then the butterflies fly on their way, and it's possible that along the way someone might spot one of our butterflies and report this tag number to Monarch Watch. And then by the time they get to Mexico, hopefully they do, to their overwintering site, once they're down there, Monarch Watch hires some locals that go around and try to find monarch recoveries. They can be dead ones that have fallen to the ground or live ones that are just overwintering there still. And they report all of the stickered butterflies that they find, and that goes into the database. So it's pretty cool because you can go to the Monarch Watch website and you can look at last year's data, and if you have the butterfly serial numbers for the butterflies you tagged, you can see if any of them were found along the way. And this data set allows us to understand more about the migration patterns of the butterflies and when they time their migrations and all of that. So it's really valuable data that is continuing to evolve as people gather more information for Monarch Watch. So now we're going to tell you and show you how we would normally tag a butterfly that we've caught. This is a monarch that we caught out in the field earlier today with a butterfly net like this. Sometimes you can sneak up behind them and kind of put your thumb and your forefinger gently around them when they have their wings held back, but probably a butterfly net is the easiest way to capture the butterfly. And then it's really helpful, since we do these programs a lot, we have this sort of little butterfly house that we can put them in while we get things ready to actually tag them. So I do want to stress that when we offer these programs out on Sears Island, we are trying to train people how to capture the butterflies safely to minimize them getting injured, and we also are trying to keep people from trampling the milkweed when they're out here, since it's such an important habitat and food source for the caterpillars. So we recommend that you only tag butterflies on Sears Island if you've come to one of our trainings. But if you're interested in more information on this whole thing, like I said, you can visit Monarch Watch and get information. And this year, because of the pandemic, we're not offering our normal workshops, but we're hoping to return to that next year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get this butterfly out, and it's been kind of an active one. So we're going to see if we can gently kind of get its wings. And like I said, I'm going to try to hold it between my thumb and forefinger as gently as I can. And what I want to show you is this part right here. This is called the discal cell. It's kind of mitten shaped, and that part is where we want to stick the tag. And it can be tricky to get this tiny tag on just the right spot. Sometimes we use little tweezers or forceps to do that, which I may use this time. I can get it on there, just so hopefully it helps get it on smoother. Okay, so the sticker sticker is on, and you can see now its code is ACAA100. So what we're going to do before we release the butterfly is we would record it on this data sheet. And the other thing that they ask is for you to tell whether the butterfly is male or female. And we haven't talked about this yet, but there is a good way to see the gender of a butterfly. And I'm going to try to check real quick before this one flies off. And that is, if it has this little dot on the back, it looks almost like a little pouch. And if it has that, it's a male. The females don't have that, where my thumb is pointing. They tend to have, oop, and there it goes. They tend to have wider black bands on their wings. But the best way to distinguish whether it's male or female is to look for those little black dots or pouches on the bottom wings of the butterfly, and that tells you it's male. So once we have tagged our butterfly and we've made note of the tagging code that was on that little sticker that we put on its wing, we would write down that serial number there, and then we would put the date, and we put whether we had a male or female, and that one we tagged was male. And then they want to know if it was a wild butterfly or one that was reared. And so this one was wild, and then we put the location where we found it. And this we would fill out with all the butterflies we tag, and then we would send it into that data into Monarch Watch later this fall, and that gets added to their database. We hope you've learned something about monarch butterflies today, as well as our conservation efforts of the monarchs here on Sears Island, and that you feel inspired to get involved to help the butterflies out. I'd like to thank Serena Cole for her dedication to these programs that we're offering. And if you are interested in ways that you can help the monarch butterflies, there's a few things that you can do. One is to make a pollinator garden at home and plant as many milkweeds as you can. There's resources on the Monarch Watch website that tell you the types of plants adult butterflies like in pollinator gardens, as well as the types of milkweed plants that you might want to plant depending on your area to see which ones are native to the place you live. You can also visit the Journey North website, which is a different website, but that is a great resource for people of all ages to check out, that tracks different animal migrations, and there's one on there for monarchs, and you can see where people are reporting sightings of monarchs as they go south in the fall and then coming back north in the spring as they migrate back toward this region. So checking that out is definitely worthwhile. I would also recommend just checking out the Monarch Watch website for more information, and if you like to support their work, you could make a donation. And lastly, if you have enjoyed this video and would like to support the work of Friends of Sears Island, we always encourage you to visit our website, friendsofsearsisland.org, where you can learn more about all the things we're doing, and we would love it if you would love to become a member. So.
Thanks, Ashley. And regardless of what you do around monarchs, the important thing is that you get out and you enjoy nature and you share that with your family. And together, our conservation efforts can make a huge difference. So thank you for your support.